Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Laju Irene and here I talk about love, life and faith. And today I'm going to be talking about a special F, friendships. I have my BFF, whoosh, Mrs. Adeto Jegede, or like I like to call her Mrs. Jegs. Welcome to my channel, my love.
Thank you.
Let me do a proper introduction. So, Bola Jagede is a woman of many graces and diverse talents. She's also a beautiful, one-dimpled, wide-smiled, big-hearted woman of God who loves to pray. She's the convener of the Going to Conceive conference as well as the Building Forever Friendships conference, and she also has a best-selling book, Building Forever Friendships. She's the doing of friendships, adult friendships, and so she's the best person to have on this show, on any show, if you want to talk about friendship. So please, with a round of applause, welcome my friend. Woo!
Welcome myself.
Yay! Of course, she's married with two beautiful children. Her husband is my husband's friend, and I'm his wife's friend. Anyway, welcome. Let's hear your beautiful voice.
Thank you everyone for having me. Hello.
Everyone is the owner of the show. You are supposed to take specifically say thank you, my dear friend, for having me.
Thank you, my dear BFF, PL, coach, mentor, pastor, mother in Israel.
Thank you for making our time to
Thank you
be here. I know you have
having
a very busy schedule. So I saw a video you did recently where you were debunking the statement that 20 children cannot play together for 20 years. In fact, you said 20 children can play together for 20 years. So let you speak to that about why long-term friendships are important, even as we go through the different seasons and stages of our lives.
Okay, so the video was talking about how that 20 children can play for 20 years with intentionality. I think long-term relationship, for me, even though, I'm a friendship enthusiast, I love talking about friendship. The people that I've been friends with the longest are very special to me because I feel like those are the people who knew me when I was nothing. They've seen all sides to me. They've seen me grow. They've seen me cry. They've seen me broken. They've seen me hurt. They've seen different aspects of me and they've watched me grow. And then we've been able to sustain that relationship such that they still value me, they still make me feel special. So that's why for me my oldest friends will continue to shout out to me. You are still my old friend anyway.
Shout out to the semi-old friends. I think our own is just like 10 years. So talking about people that have done 20, 30 years.
People who have been friends with me since
no problem, no shade.
Yeah.
No shade.
So yeah, I think that if you guys are very intentional about building your friendship, you would make it work.
So Mrs. Jex, people say that women are so complicated and it's difficult for us to have female friendships for a long period of time. What do you have to say to that? Our drama is too plenty.
What they said is true. It's true. It's very correct. Female friendships, or females generally, are dramatic and our friendships are complicated. But that's not to say that it's not possible to have female friendships. And that's why it's also important that when you are choosing your friends, you know the kind of friends that you choose. You know what binds you together as friends, your values, the values that you guys uphold. And I also personally think that a friendship where most of the people in it are submitted to God would work better than a friendship where they can't be bothered about God.
What do you think that why are friendships worth it? Like maybe we should talk about that. Why are adult friendships worth it? Why? Because even when you have people that are submitted to God, human beings can still be interesting, right?
Yeah. That's correct.
So like me and you love the Lord very well, but we've had our own fair share of small, not too much drama, just small, because I'm generally a quiet person. Oh my God! You see eyes for me. Oh yeah, speak. So maybe I will tell them how we became friends. My version. But first of all, answer the question.
Why are friendships important? when you said that, what actually came to mind is why is there a war between Ukraine and Russia? Why?
It's the depth. Get yourself a different.
No, seriously, why? I mean, I just think that friendships are very, 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 very important to our souls. Like, let me just give a personal example.
Okay.
A few days ago, my day was going somehow, and I was just feeling a certain way. And then I just remembered that my friend had dropped a message for me that I should call whenever I was okay to talk. And then I called her, and then by the time we were done talking, my goodness, it was so refreshing. I felt like I had hit a jackpot, as if I could just I could take on the world just because I had a conversation with my friend. And that's me, who is happily married by the grace of God, right? So it's not to say that, okay, because you are married or because I am married, I don't need friends. Because there are some people like that who feel like,
I think that when you're married, you even need friends even more.
oh my goodness. You need friends even more. So friendships are important for your soul. They are refreshing. God made friendship for your good. I believe that friendship is one of the ways that God expresses his love to us. Because if I'm praying that, God, please, I want this, or God, please, I want to do this, he's not going to come down and do it for me. He will send someone. He will send people. So
even in times where you need encouragement, you need support, the things that the Lord may have said to you in private and you may have forgotten, your friend will come and say it to you in public. And you're like, oh my God, that's true. So while self-encouragement is good, there's nothing like having people who just have your back no matter what, and are so excited about you. Like, I remember receiving some good news last week, and I put on the group, on our BFF group. I know your other BFFs are not there, but me, I'm the one that has us. And I was like, I have some good news, but I'm not going to share until prayer time today. And I was like, I know everybody's going to show up for prayer time today. And bright and early, like few minutes before, everybody was like, it's not your time, it's not your time. And by the time I shared it with them, it's just really exciting to just have that base where
share your joy.
Exactly. People share your joy, and not just your joy, but many times your pain. So sometimes you may not even tell your friend, this is exactly what I'm going through 100%, but just knowing that you have that base to pray with, it's and for people to just share in your joy and believe in you, it's very refreshing. I think there's also a spiritual angle that because I already talked about the fact that we pray together at least once a week. I remember going through something a while back, and a friend of mine messaged me and she said, Lajo, are you okay? And when she asked me if I was okay, I was just resolving the matter. The matter that I had been going through, I was just resolving it. And she said, you've been on my mind for the past 2 days. And the 2 days I'd been on her mind was when the problem started. So, as she said, I've just been praying for you, I'm praying for you. And I didn't even give her the full details. I just said, you were right on the money. At the time you were praying, I needed it. Now you reached out to me, I'm fine. So just really having somebody who has your back, and knowing that this person has got me. I think, or these people have got me. And then the truth is that, like, I think marriage is so important, and we've had lots of marriage conversations on the channel. But I think that there are times when there are some things maybe your spouse might not understand, and your spouse cannot be everything to you. Hey, maybe I should say it again.
I think so.
Like you will marry well. We both have good marriages by the grace of God, but your spouse cannot be everything to you. And the truth is that you cannot always be everything to your spouse. So just really having that base for that emotional and spiritual support, I think, is so important, especially as an adult. And I think that children understand friendships many times more than us. You see the efforts they make to keeping their friends. They're always asking, can we have a play date? Can we go visit? Can we have a sleepover?
Can I spend time?
Yes. And I think they know these things because even though, like, what are children really going through like that? But they find solace in friendships. How much more adulting that is so hard. Oh my God. Oh my God. So Mrs. Jegs, one way I've learned to make friends is when you invite me for an event, I go and I just take I just adopt your friends and make them mine, because you always have like.
Actually, I love it. I love it. I love it when my friends get together. I love it when I introduce people. And
Yeah.
I love to see it.
Yeah,
So yeah, please
there's something she's very good at, connecting people. Then she always knows like all the best spots in Lagos. Yeah, well, guys. So if you say I want to go this way, just like, do you want mainland or island? But I want you to talk about. So let's say I'm not really a friendship person. I used to say that about myself before. How do I build friendships? Or let me say, how do I make new friends?
First of all, if you're not really a friendship person, I think the first thing is be open to the idea of being a friendship person.
Thank you.
So be open to it, because why are you not a friendship person?
Maybe we should. A lot.
Yeah. So maybe we should talk about that. So if you've been through a lot, for example, it doesn't mean that every other person out there is here to offer you another a lot. Do you understand what I mean?
So not everybody's out to hurt you.
Yes, not everybody is out to hurt you. Personally, my own life has been better because of the kind of friends that God has blessed me with. And I think that, this is just by the way, but I think it's something that you can covet and look at someone and say, I want this thing, not in a bad way, but just to say, oh, this person has good friends. God, please send me my own good friends. So that's like the second step after being open to the fact that I can have good friends. Regardless of what my past has been, God can send me good friends. Then when you pray that prayer, also believe it. Then position yourself also as a good friend.
How do I do that? Okay.
So for example, if I want to be a good friend to you, all I need to do is to observe you or study you, know what you like, what you don't like.
The science of friendship. People need to pay money to my friend, but it's
know the things that you like, know the things that you don't like. Do more of the things that you like and do less of the things that you don't like, or none of the things that you don't like. But as human beings, you have to leave allowance for
for
error. And then also looking at yourself. How do I want to be loved as a person? What would make me feel special? So do those things for other people. Everybody likes to be treated, with honor, with respect. I love to know that, oh, my friends value me. They think I'm all that. I'm a big deal. So that way that you want people to treat you, treat others that way as well.
So that's another thing. But what if you make efforts like that, but those efforts are not reciprocated? Where it seems like people take advantage of you, but they're not willing to give of themselves to you.
Well, how did you come about that? That's my first question. However, I think that communication is also very, very important in friendship. I think it's important for us to mention here that, for example, you love the Lord, I love the Lord, does not mean we don't have our weaknesses and differences. So I as a friend should factor in the fact that you are only human and you cannot be 100% perfect. So there might be some, inconsistencies here and there. If I factor that in way ahead of time, when those things show up, I should have the maturity to manage it. This thing I'm saying in English sounds good, but in reality,
it's hard.
It's hard. Yeah. So have that at the back of your mind that no one is perfect. So I also think it's important for us to know if the friendship is toxic for you or not. That's a different case. If it's toxic for you, then it's not good for you. However, if it's a case where maybe the person is not reciprocating your love, I think that's a communication issue. I think you can just call the person and say, hey, this is how I feel. I'm doing this. I'm not getting the same energy
from you.
I would really love you to, work on that. That's where communication comes in.
I remember somebody who is my friend now, and we had been acquaintances for a bit. And in the few years that we were acquaintances, although we say, oh sis, hi, we were friendly to each other, but wouldn't we say we were friends? She was making an effort to get me involved in stuff that she was doing. Right? She would say, oh, I want to do a magazine. Would you like to work on it with me? I want to host so-and-so program. Would you like to host it with me? And the truth is, I would always say no. And I was not saying no because I can't even remember. But you see where we are now. But I was not saying no because I was not interested in her as a person. I was saying no because I was not really interested in those things. And so it wasn't that I was avoiding connecting with her. It was just that I was at a stage of my life where there was already a lot going on, and I only really wanted to focus on what God will have me do. One, two, I like this person. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm working with you and I'm not giving it 100%. So it was the end determination. I said, I really made this effort to be your friend by asking you to do this and do this. And I was like, oh, is that what you were doing? I didn't know, right? So I think learning to give people the benefit of doubt is so important. And sometimes I really communicate and say, well, me and you are going to be friends. Do you understand? But the truth is that we also have to understand that you may not necessarily have to be friends with everyone. That there are some times where you will make that effort to be friendly with somebody, and of no fault of theirs or yours, for some reason it's not working or it's not time. And just being able to show yourself grace, show that person grace, and make sure that you never define yourself just based on how you feel people perceive you. Because sometimes people are going through stuff. There are some people that when I met them and I related with them, I was like, why are you behaving like this? But I'm almost sure that there are some people that also met me and related with me and I was 100% that day. So just really learning to show people grace and knowing that maybe it's not you, maybe it's them, maybe they're going through something, maybe it's not time for the relationship, and just giving them, I think that benefit of doubt is so important. Well, you opened another topic while we were talking about this, where you talked about discerning toxic friendship. How do I discern toxic friendships? How do I know when, okay, maybe this person is going through a tough patch, or I need to bring an end to this friendship, like I need to walk away, it's not for me?
So I'll just give you the signs, right? So for example, a toxic friendship is the one that would always drain you. It will never add to you. It's always draining you. And you mentioned something about, one person is giving maybe energy or whatever resources, and the other person is not giving. Even though, there's a balance to that. But if you ever feel like you are the only one bringing consistently, you've talked about it, it is draining you, then that may be that's toxic for you. Another sign of a toxic friendship is that it is it's always talking about self. So the person only thinks about herself or himself, not putting you into consideration. You know how the Bible says that love is not selfish. You think about others. The Bible says that we should outdo one another in showing honor. So the kind of friendship that I believe we should have is such that, you wow me the last time and I'm like,
I must do my own back in the way that
in honor, in celebrating one another, in being there for one another. So if this friendship is the one that the only thing the person thinks about is herself or himself, then that's not good for you. Then another tip would be if the person takes you away from God. Makes you drift away from God, from your values, from the things that you hold dear. So they will make you do things that you are not proud of. And you know that it's because you want to please this person and you are doing it, and it's not pleasing your God. That's toxic. I'll stop here.
Thank you very much. I remember after the last BFF conference, just really talking about, it was a similar topic to this, and after that I called a friend of mine, and I had to just fall out my hand and say, this is the situation that you did that really hurts me. And she was like, and we're able to, by God's grace, kind of iron that out. Because it was a situation where I was like, well, let's just be acquaintances. I don't, right? But I think the beautiful thing about having the Spirit of God is He will always nudge you in the right direction, even when you just want to wallow in your hurt. But how do we repair friendships where it seems like they've been hurt or betrayal? How do we repair those kinds of friendships?
So first of all, I'll speak to what you said about reaching out to friends who hurt you. I think I just want to talk about something that I recently learned. So usually I would say confrontation. You have to talk about issues when there are issues. However, I'm also learning that there are some issues that you don't necessarily need to confront. Especially when it's going to open more wound or it's going to go south, right? And that's why as children of God, sometimes, like someone said, take yourself to yourself or just take yourself to God. I think for me what I do is talk to God, talk to my husband, you know, this person did this person made me feel this way, or talk to God. I actually really talk to God about it. Help me to heal from this. Because I found out that not everybody knows how to take feedback. Not everybody knows how to take confrontation. Not everybody is mature enough for confrontation. Or maybe the friendship is not yet mature enough for confrontation. Because I've had cases where I brought up issues with someone in the past and it went bad. And I've also had issues where the same person, I brought up issues with them and it went very well. Right? So I'm just saying that, you know, when it comes to confrontation, there is a balance. So when it comes to repairing, one thing I believe in is so for example, most of my friends, people I call friends, are believers. And I believe that you have the Holy Spirit, I have the Holy Spirit, right? So when we have issues, the Holy Spirit will help us. He would sort me out. He will sort you out. We will make efforts, right? There are some cases where I'm like, Father, behold your daughter. You know.
Why are you pointing at me? This is about me. Oh my goodness.
It just happened. So there are some cases where I'm like, God, behold your daughter. There are some, in fact, there was a recent case where I had a dream about a friend that she was upset with me.
Okay.
Yeah. And I picked up my phone to reach out to her and I said, I dreamt about this, and she said, yes, it's true. You know, so that's
friendship with the Holy Ghost.
So that can also happen. But when it comes to repairing, I will go back to what I said earlier about factoring in the human, factoring the fact that the person is human
and can make mistakes.
Yes, and can make mistakes. So sometimes you may set out not to intentionally hurt me, but your words or something you have said has hurt me, right? But if I factor it in mind that PL is only human, PL didn't mean it that way, even though it's tough. I've had cases.
Are there things you need to tell me? Because this example
are
exemplary.
Oh my goodness. So you are the one interviewing.
Yes,
should I use another
person? Use me. I'm your friend. Use me.
God, are you saying something?
Maybe the Kairos moment. Just say your mind now.
You know, so factoring the human part and saying that, oh, PL is only human. PL loves me. Sometimes I even try as much as possible to see all the good things that the person has done. I'm like, this small bad thing, you want to be angry because of that. Just forget it. You know, that helps. Communication also helps. But I would say that prayerfully communicate.
Yeah. So there are some situations where you deal with it with the Lord and you move on. And there's some situations where you need to have that conversation.
Yeah.
So it's about being intentional enough to figure out which is
which or when. You know, the right timing also matters.
Yeah.
There are issues that you can say much later that that time you did this and really upsets me, and you know, sorry will just be enough at that time. So the timing also matters.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think I know that not all the examples were based on you and I. Maybe some were based on you and I. But I know that for us, for example, we had kind of a rocky start when we first became friends. Let me touch on that a bit.
Touch it.
Because we're like adopted friends. Like my husband was your husband's best friend.
Adopted, I think that's the word.
We are adopted, so we were brought into that situation where we had struggle. We had to be friends. we had but then in those initial stages, it was not always very easy. I think there were one or two times that you would say, after a while, when you actually said this, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't mean it that way. But I think we eventually, this one you are thinking,
found a way
around. Found it. And I think that the key word you've mentioned and I've mentioned is just that intentionality. And being intentional enough to understand the other person. Being intentional enough to apologize when you're wrong or to forgive them when they are wrong.
For example, you don't get to say maybe the way the person is expressing it, you don't agree with it when it comes to apology or when it comes to conflict. If you're telling me now that I did something to you, as a friend, I have the responsibility to hear you out and then apologize. I don't get to say, oh, you shouldn't have. Even though my intentions may not have
but
been
you
much,
can get to say it, but maybe not in a way that dismisses what
that
the other
yeah,
person
exactly.
is trying to say.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. I love this conversation. You see, we cannot finish everything we have to say about friendships in this video. You guys need to get my friend's book. I wish we had a copy here, Building Forever Friendships. You can also follow at BFF Lifestyle to learn more about Building Forever Friendships. I'll just ask 1 or 2 questions and we'll drop some final words, and that'll be the end of this conversation here. But please, you need to get her book. You're going to learn a lot. I've read it and trust me, it's a very good book. So, but now, let's say somebody has a friend that suddenly ghosted them. I think people don't talk enough about how friendship heartbreaks can be. Like, we talk a lot about breakfast in terms of romantic relationship, but that friendship one where you and someone were so close and all of a sudden they're not picking your calls, they blocked you. Have you ever experienced something?
Oh yes.
You, the mama of friendships.
Are you experiencing it? I think that's
my
the question.
Jesus, you're going through a lot, my love. Oh my goodness. Please let me give it over to you so you can pour your heart out. How do I recover from a friendship heartbreak?
So is it friendship heartbreak or ghosting?
Ghosting no be heartbreak.
Because there are some friends that, for example, I have someone that 2 people or 3.
Hey.
Yeah. That I love so much with all of my heart, and I know that they love me as well. But they ghost me from time to time. You know.
So how do you define this ghosting now?
Ghosting, they just, what you just said, they don't take your calls, they are not reaching out. You know, ghosting makes you think, did I do something bad? Yeah, you start thinking, did I say something bad? Did I do something bad? You know, you are reaching out and they are not coming. Yeah, they are not coming through. They are not responding. So I have people who do that a lot, and I've come to understand that sometimes they do that because they are going through stuff and they don't just want to, you know, talk to anybody. Sometimes they do that because they just want to take some time out and just be with themselves. And you know, so what I do in that instant is, for me, I keep reaching out. I'm just checking on you. I drop a voice note. I won't lie, sometimes too I'm like, damn it, but it's a lie. The kind of person I am, the person will still come to heart and I'll still reach out. Hey, I'm checking on you, I'm here, you know, whatever. And then much later, when we get to talk, I'll say, you know, this thing is a bad behavior. This thing that you did is not good, because friends are supposed to go through good and bad times together.
Yeah.
Even if you were going through stuff, I should be able to, you know, pray with you or pray for you on whatever issue is. On whatever issue you're having. But I know that some people struggle with vulnerability. So in a case where someone is ghosting you, I think the first thing you should apply should be empathy. I've come to learn that.
So you make excuses for them even when you don't know what their excuses are.
Yes, make excuses for them, and then don't stop reaching out. Don't stop, because I've had cases where I would reach out, I will not even hear from the person, and then much later, maybe even years later, they'll say thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for being that friend. So they actually know that you love them, but you know, bad behavior coupled with shaggies and you know, things that
and
you
just
go
life
through in life,
in general.
adulting. Yeah. So for heartbreak, it depends on who made the heartbreak happen. Was it mutual? Was it one party? Was it you? You know, if it's you, forgive yourself. If it's your friend, forgive your friend. If it was toxic, forgive your friend and love your friend from afar. Do you understand? But if it's, you know, all the things we talked about that could happen in any friendship, talk about it. Look for the best time and place to talk about it. Talk about it. Me personally, I don't believe that there's any friendship that forgiveness cannot. There's any offense that forgiveness or love cannot heal. That's my own.
So this is true. But are there ever times where you're like, okay, you mentioned like you just forgive? There are some situations where it seems like maybe you should just forgive and move on.
So I've had friends I had somebody that did something last year, and the person I didn't get to discuss it with the person. It was one of those matters that I took to the Lord, right? And what the person did really hurt me. But this same person turned around to be very strategic to make what I needed to do at the time. I don't want to spill so that
The
the person will not know and nobody will know. But this same person turned around to be strategic in something very big that happened to me last year, the same last year. And then it got me thinking, what if I had left this person because of what the person did? What if I didn't forgive? What if I forgave and said, I want to be loving from afar? Sometimes you don't know what you miss out on because of offense.
So wise, yeah.
Because of offense, you don't know what you miss out on. So, I mean, God gives us chances. So why not give your friends chances as well? This is not to say that you should condone rubbish. This is not to say that you should not communicate. However, there are cases where there's another instance where somebody last year again, somebody wasn't reaching out to me because I'm the type of
last year.
oh my goodness. I'm the type of friend that would reach out to somebody. Maybe if I've not heard from you in a while, I would always reach out. And then I was like, I'm not reaching out. It's like this person is taking my love for granted. I'm not going to reach out to this person. And then they'll just reach out and say, just do this thing. You have the grace. And then I just reached out to her, only to find out that her children were sick. All her children were sick at the same time. And I started feeling bad that, we now said, let's have lunch. So we had lunch, and then during lunch, I was telling my friend that, you wouldn't have met me here if not for so that I needed to do that I couldn't get done. And she was like, what's that? And I told her. By the time I told her everything I needed to get that thing to happen, my friend sorted it. I was shaking. Like literally, I was like, is that it? And then I now thought of the fact that if I didn't reach out to this person because of the way I was feeling, this wouldn't have happened. And I would have missed out on it. And I would have told myself that, I wanted to do this one time, it didn't happen. And that would have just been it. So sometimes when we extend grace, it helps us to, enjoy some of those things that we've been praying about, that God is going to use your friends for. But times when all you do is complain, all you do is, you're not making excuses for people, it makes you miss out on things.
Yeah, so really showing people grace. I think one thing that comes to mind right now is the fact that Bible says a friend is made for times of adversity. And the truth is that if you guys are only friends when this person is doing everything to please you, there are no issues, that friendship has not really been tested. And if it's not been tested, it's not really a strong friendship. So learning to forgive people and deal with them with grace in mind, I think that's something that I've taken away from this conversation, and I'm so grateful for it. I think we're going to wrap up with, what can I do to be more intentional about my friendships? You've mentioned constantly reaching out, forgiving. I would say prayer is a big one, but what else can I do to constantly
I think it's important for us to know how our friends want to be loved. To know how our friends want to be supported. Because sometimes you are doing stuff, you think, I'm going all out for you, but the person is like, no, you're not. So it's important to know your friend and know how. So PL, for example, how does she want me to love her?
How do I want you to love me?
That will make her consider me a good friend.
You're already a good friend. You love me in so many incredible, amazing ways.
Be honest. So I think it's very, very important. I think you mentioned prayer. I think communication, spending time with one another, also validating one another. That's also very important. Just my friend telling me that I'm proud of you. Look at what you did there.
It's been me or Mrs. Umba.
Yeah.
She's always.
I was actually thinking about her. I was thinking about her.
Like, you killed it.
The way, shout out to Ogochukwu.
Yeah.
The way she would be excited about those stuff.
Yes.
You're like,
yes.
Wait, I'm not even that.
And PD does it, but in a different kind of way. It's just really incredible. Even so, just really showing up and then understanding the people want to be loved. Because Mr. Suba can be that voice in your head that just tells you what the biggest thing there ever was.
Sometimes it's your friend's words that are echoing in your head.
Yeah.
Like you just remember and you're like, because of this person, I'll just keep going. So it's I'm getting emotional. Yeah. It's very, 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 very important for you to validate your friends. And then don't just look for good friends. You too be a good friend. Yes, I think that's important as well.
Be a good friend, and the skills that you need for friendship, it's okay to constantly build them, because friendships will reveal weaknesses that you didn't know you had.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to cut
No
you.
problem.
I remember something you did years ago. I think I even wrote it in my book where you just reached out and said, how can I be a better friend or something like that. Yeah, that's another way. You know, how can I be a better friend?
Yeah.
Maybe not when you are having issues. Not even maybe not. When things are good.
Yeah.
Just ask, how can I be a better friend to you? Yeah. How can I help? How can I be of service to you?
And that actually makes you not just a better friend, but a better person.
Yeah.
So friendships, even when they seem difficult, are always an opportunity for growth. So there's a lot to say, but just let us know in the comment section if you have questions. I'll try to get Mrs. Jakes to maybe respond to a couple of them. But see, your friendship will not work if you don't subscribe to my channel. If this will just be breaking. Please help me ask them to subscribe.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Do it now and click on the bell button beside the notification button so you can know.
So you can have good friends.
When we yes. So you can know when we have more videos coming up. And those of you that maybe your friends have channels and you've not subscribed. Maybe you can see. You can see now why you people always fight. But yeah, but I think being generous to your friends is also important. I think we didn't mention that. But yeah, so you guys, thanks for watching. Please drop some beautiful words for Mrs. Jegs in the comment section because she deserves it. And then just share your thoughts and experiences and what you've learned from this video in the comments, and make sure you subscribe now. Bye.